Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review. I'm very excited for this guest. I've been wanting to get her for a while. You've seen her on Cold Case. She played Detective Lily Rush. You've seen her on Minority Report, Paper Dragons. The great Kathryn Morris is going to be here right now.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Riffs with your host, Keith Reza.
Hi, Kathryn Morris.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Keith. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you so much for doing this. I've been wanting to talk to you for like 4 years now, and I'm glad I
Oh,
finally got to do it. So thank you.
oh, yeah.
I
I'm so
really,
glad we finally get to meet.
yeah, I really appreciate it. And I wanted to start with this. I know it wasn't in the notes, but like I looked up the savants because I was getting emails from them, and I thought that that was really cool what you're doing because I don't know if you know this, but I'm on the spectrum. I have Asperger's syndrome, so I think like what you're doing for the community is just so awesome. And do you mind talking about that for a second? Because I think that's cool.
Well, I did get the message through my management when you connected, to invite me to be on your show. So thank you for
Oh,
having me on your show.
oh yeah, definitely.
That we became aware. You became aware you wanted to interview me before,
Yeah.
and now we're in the community, in the same community.
Yeah.
If there's any way that I can try to amplify and support the community through our own story, I'm just happy to do it and love to do it. So, and I love that. So you're on my list.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I was on it today because I was getting the emails, and I was like, at first I thought it was like a new movie you were working on or something. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So then I Googled it. I was like, whoa, it's a whole autism community I've never heard of, and I think like this is so. I think that's so awesome.
Hey, you know what? You just gave me the idea. We've got to do the Savants, the movie. Let's not do streaming. Let's do motion picture, right?
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God. But
And it could be a comedy because you're a comedian, right?
yeah, well, I think so. I hope so. I mean, I'm not the best actor in the world, but
Either am
I'm
I.
I'm
I'm no
better
getting to
at
do it.
comedy.
I'm laughing.
Yeah. But you know what's so weird is because like uh I think I did stand up to be an actor, but I realized in auditions like I'm really bad at it because like with casting directors when you're doing it in front of everybody, like I have a hard time talking to one person at a time. Like talking to like four people at a time is very hard for me. You know what I mean? Since I'm trying to get a job and stuff. So I
Mhm.
thought maybe I should just do comedy. You know, that might be easier. And
How's
then
it? How do you like it?
I love it. I mean, stand up saved my life because I was very nonverbal growing up. And I've been doing stand up since I was 15, 16. So like I've been going to speech therapy and stuff and now like I'm talking like, I still have a stutter and all that stuff, but comedy's my life and I fell out of love of acting with the more I did comedy. Does that make sense?
Yes. But I think that stand-up comedy is way more difficult
Really?
than acting. Oh yeah, I would never want to
I
be a
think
stand-up comedian.
I think you would be a
No way.
great comic.
Well, I would get up and say, "Hey, I'm I'm Catherine," and what you always have to get up and say, "How's everybody doing in Los Angeles?" Like
Yeah.
it's like, what are you gonna say? Like, so I'm a mom. Like
Yeah, but
give me a
that
script. I loved you a script. I love
no, that
material.
would you would be great on it. You'd be like, "Hi, my name's Kathryn Morris. You might know me because I'm a famous." You know,
Hey, will you write my material? I'll get up
if you
and
let
say,
me open for you, sure, yeah, definitely. We could go on a tour,
I love it.
right? We could like change this industry around, you know. But with my comedy, I actually uh I would say 99% of my comedies I talk about being on the spectrum. So like I think like that's kind of cool because like that's how I try and bring awareness to the community. And I was really like I said, I just love this whole website thing you have going on. Like how long have you been doing this? I think I'm so sorry this isn't in the notes, but I'm so fascinated by this.
this makes me so happy because, you know, you are the community that we want to amplify and we want to change the world for because, you know, I got twins. They're 11 years old and they're going to grow up and one or two of them like might be comedians. I mean, Rocco, my son Rocco was nonverbal, had they were told me, you know, nothing's gonna ever happen. He's gonna live with you. He's gonna be a sunflower. I'm like, what do you mean he's gonna be a sunflower? They're like, sometimes there's a sunflower and it's
Yeah.
beautiful. They're talking to me like in concepts of, you know, when you see a
Flowers.
sunflower and it's beautiful and then it grows and then it gets bigger and taller. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what are you trying to say to me? It's still a sunflower. It gets taller and taller. It's still I'm like, what are you trying to tell me?
Yeah.
They're basically telling me the kid might be 6'4", but he's gonna live with you for the rest of the life. Still beautiful,
Yeah.
but that might be it. And so like they didn't expect much for Rocco. And of course, I knew that that wasn't going to be the case because I would never underestimate my child. And I think just the creative people that I know and the creative person that I am and the way that I would look at each person as an individual,
Yeah.
the help that I saw it, you know, within the community and with specialists that work with, you know, his medical conditions that he had associated with autism and just every area of life, you know, if it's being in nature, if it's being in a science camp, if it's playing at my friend's farm, running after chickens, like whatever it is, if it's telling jokes in a living room, if it's going to the Rose Bowl to see how it feels to be around fireworks, like let's see what is this work for you or not. So that was a work journey with my one son Rocco.
Is he sensitive to loud noises?
He's actually worked up to it. Now you know, he's actually doing so well.
Yeah.
He's in general ed 6th grade and he just ran for class president last year and
Oh my God.
no, he did run off the stage, but that was because everybody was yelling his name. They were like, Rocco. And how great was that? And he was like, wait a second, that's a lot. Of course, you know, the school, they weren't like very equipped for kids with autism anyway. They kind of like try to move them forward, just kind of like get their IEPs out of the school. So they didn't know how to like say, hey, let's keep it down. He's gonna come out, you know. So but we did a do over and he did it for his class the next day and
Yeah.
he was so loved and accepted there like as a person. So he's doing great and he's very happy. He's very happy in his 6th grade middle school, a very IEP friendly school, and it's got a great group of friends, and it's been great. And then my other son, his name is James, and he's the wild child that you know, you two would hit it off. So,
Really?
oh yeah, I think you'd hit off with
Oh,
both my
I know.
kids.
I was gonna say
We're gonna come to your show. Where are you based?
I live in Orange County, but I tour with TJ Miller, so wherever you are, I whenever I'm there, I could like text you or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But but yeah, I mean, I think that's so like I'm gonna send you this recording because I don't know if you know this, Catherine, but you have just in what you said, you have like 5 jokes. You know, like your son running for president. That's funny, right? Because like you didn't even talk about his policies or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Rocco has policies.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Rocco. And that's the thing, you know, we call him, his nickname is OG Manips.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. His dad gave him that nickname. Um, he said, you know, I'm starting to think that this autism bullshit is like, meaning he was saying, because we started to realize, you know, Rocco, we had all this attention because he had so much going on, you know, like we had, you know, delays in 5 areas. Like he had balance issues with his body. He
Yeah.
motor like real health, real serious health issues. And then he starts goes, you know, they're twins. He goes, I'm starting to think that he kind of knows what's going on. I think he's actually like working this whole thing. Like he knows what's going on. He goes, I'm going to call him OG Manips because there's always the twin factor.
Right.
So he goes, he's working this whole thing. So he sometimes tries to pretend now that he's, running for president and everything. It's sort of like, like right now with the new administration, like who is really running things? Like we don't really know who's running things,
Right.
but you know, like
Yeah.
is Elon autistic or is he not? Like I don't know. I
I,
don't.
he definitely is on the spectrum. I mean, I don't believe in a lot of the stuff he does, but he's still on the spectrum, so I love him like that. But like,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, like I know a lot about presence and stuff. Like that's how my Asperger's is. You know what I mean? Like, I like the three things I'm fascinated about is presence, comedy, and adult videos. But but no, I like animals. So yeah.
We're definitely coming to your show.
Okay. But yeah, but no, no, please continue. I'm sorry for so your son.
And I don't get political, but
Mhm.
but the thing is, Rocco's was the quiet one, obviously,
Yeah.
because he was nonverbal and he really had we learned later that like he had like some neurological things that also had muscle tone and even with his speech and things like that. So, but now we're realizing like he knows what's going on all the time and that he's all working the whole system here. So we'll be like, hey, we'll go Manip. So go, don't call me that. I'm not. And we're like, yeah, you are. And he goes, okay, I am.
Uh-huh.
And then my other child, he is hyperverbal and he definitely he would run not just open, he would open for you, close for you, insist on being the tour manager.
For us. It's not
Yes,
me.
he would.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
He would do
us.
the
Yeah.
merchandise.
Oh, okay.
He would also and he would control the whole situation. He's also super fly. So like,
He
he's
he's
very loving
hired.
and care. They're great. They're phenomenal kids, like for all the spiciness and all of the calls from the school. I mean, they're just the greatest. It's like now I'm at the point like I've learned so much as a parent all of the times could you come and get him and I'm like I'm actually about ready to go on the Today Show and talk about my children and out myself as a parent in Hollywood with twins on the spectrum, and I'm like you could just call my caregiver because we're going to be going up, they're going to be joining me in New York tomorrow anyway, and I'm just like are you actually calling me?
Yeah.
Like, is my 7-year-old really that difficult? Because I have one of the top behavior therapists slash ex ABA therapists that I hired. Like she was done with, there's some bad ABA, there's the behavior therapy where, you learn like something that would be like a safety issue, like not jumping into the deep end of a pool. Like she's that therapist who taught my kids how to swim, in a safe way and that kind of thing. So,
Right.
um, so she was actually gonna get them on a plane and bring them to join us in New York. And I was actually about ready to get on the Today Show and out myself about being a parent, talk about my Savants initiative. So a couple of years ago, and the
Yeah.
school's calling, and they knew they were going to be missing school and joining us in New York the next day, and I just thought are you really calling me in New York right now?
Yeah.
Like you can't handle a sound because all they knew they said all you have to do. I have the most experienced person who ran a school in another state.
Right.
She's actually like a minute away. All you got to do is call her, and she'll come and get on the phone with my son and say, "Hey, what are you doing? Let's talk about it. All right, get it together. All right, or I'm going to come pick you up, come and talk about whatever's going on with how you're doing.
Yeah.
Get back. You want to go to New York tomorrow? Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. I just think it's so funny. But after, we've been through so much, and now I'm like, kids, I'm telling you, like, I would never want to roll with anyone other than you. Like, they're the best. They're the coolest kids. I've learned so much by, having children on the spectrum. I mean,
Yeah.
normal kids are, they bore me to tears. I mean,
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think I have very similar stories with your sons because like I would get in trouble all the time in school because like here's the thing, Catherine, like not to brag or anything, but I used to ditch because I was too smart. You know what I mean? Like I was like I already know all this hocus pocus crap. You know what I mean? So like I'd go and there was a movie theater right by my like across the street and like there like a so I'd go to movies from like 10 to 1 and I'd skip high school those classes, you know? And when you skip class, the next day you have to have a note from your parents, you know, like why do you skip or whatever. And I can't tell my parents, "Oh, hey, I skipped school because I wanted to go see, you know, adult videos." You know, like so I the next
Well, at
yeah,
1X, double X, or triple X, or how high are we talking?
we could do the R's, you know, like
Okay.
like showgirls or something, you know, when
Okay, yeah.
yeah, it's pretty X round. Anyways, that's not the point. So then I like the next day, I'd have to forge, you know, because a note because I can't let my parents, you know, and I was so smart, and then so I turn in a note, and then I come home, and my mom would say, hey Keith, because that's my name. They'd be like, the school called you that you didn't show up to class yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, you wrote a note, remember? She's like, yeah, why did you say the note? Please excuse Keith, he had morning sickness. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know, but yeah, so yeah. But no, like
The details. It was
yeah,
the details, yeah.
it's the details. But no, that's so awesome. And like, you know, like I've always been a fan of you and like I gotta be honest, I didn't know you know, you were a parent of, you know, uh, on the spectrums and stuff. So I think like that's so cool. Like that's it's so funny how things connect, you know what I mean? Like that.
We must have felt each other's frequency. I basically took a little time to like build what it was. And the website is really just like a one stop, like
Yeah.
right now, but then there'll be many different aspects of it. Like it's a lifestyle brand for misfits, makers, and mind benders. And but for people on and off the autism spectrum. For example, say you just need to go to one place, maybe your early diagnosis and that autism word. Oh my goodness, oh, what does that mean? Is that going to be like the movie Rain Man? I just don't know. Like, what does it mean? The unknown.
Yeah.
And you're concerned for your child, or your grandparents said this. It's just a lot. It's a lot. You just don't know what it means. And a lot of people are saying, well, they're very smart, or maybe you need to discipline them. It's just all of the stigmas that are happening. And I just wanted one destination where everybody can have a conversation. And then there's different tentacles that would go out for resources,
Yeah.
and also for creative minds and makers and the misfits, like the musicians and the artists and the comedians and the scientists. We also have a YouTube channel that we started, and it's going to be branching out. I just recently made a collaboration with Sonny and the Black Pack. He's the house band for Howie Mandel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so he's a musical savant and also an artist. And we've been very tight friends for mm, about since 2010.
Yeah.
Is very much like family to us. So we plan on doing basically like a talk show.
Oh
And
my God.
yeah, so you'll have to come on, and for people
I
on
would
the spectrum of very creative things and a lot of different things coming. And I'd love to have you come on to our show, and on a bigger scale,
oh.
spotlight
I,
you or YouTube, like what we're doing here, and also come onto the bigger stage as we do it, the ongoing conversation. So
I would love to because you're my best friend now. But
we're gonna go on the road in person. We know that.
yeah, we know
Somewhere
that.
meet somewhere
Hey,
between here and Orange County, or I don't know, like
wherever.
Atlanta,
Well,
Baltimore. Who
I'll
knows?
call the venues. I'll set this up.
My
But
son
no.
Jameson's quite, but actually both the kids are quite funny.
Yeah, they could be our opening acts. Like we could each do 15 minutes and then you do and then after we'll do a Q&A. I think that would be cool, right?
That's, you know,
But
Rocco would love to be the manager.
he could be the manager. Yeah.
He loves being called the manager. My sister recorded an album. She's a country singer, and he told everybody, "You guys need to start practicing. I'm the manager. You guys have been lazy. You need to get back onto practicing because, like,
He sounds like my manager. uh but no, I think this is so fascinating because we've been talking for 20 minutes and I didn't know this, and like here was the first thing I was going to say to you, I was going to say, Kathryn, thank you so much for dropping the restraining order for doing this. Yeah.
no,
But like
Keith,
it's not funny now. I mean,
thank you for honoring my boundaries.
oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
I really appreciate, like, it meant a lot to me. Like when my Doberman looked you straight in the eyes, you heeded the warning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But but no, like this is
We can always
so
back up and do it. We can do a fresh
yeah, yeah.
edit.
This is so fascinating. But no, this is so cool. So can we talk a little Hollywood now? Like,
Oh
because
yeah.
I want to respect your time, but I do have Hollywood questions for you.
Oh, let's go. Yes.
Okay, okay. So let's I wanted to ask you, do you have any advice for actors who like have a fear of like getting their scenes cut or deleted and stuff? Like because
That's a good question. Yeah. I have been in so many movies and projects where I have been in the movie and edited out, and it's a tough one when
uh,
you're edited out. You're like, whoa, wow. Um, I really believe if you can just keep moving forward and just say, you know what, like I did the work, it's out there, like I put the energy out there. If you can really love acting for it sounds really cheesy, but if you can really love acting for what it is and know like that you did it because you really love it and that it's somehow going to be karmically out there for some future project or relationship, that it will come back to you.
yeah,
For example, like I've had this history in my life and my career since I started acting professionally. I think I was around 20. And a lot of times, like I would be like the 11th hour person. Like they were hoping that so and so would go, so we're going to do their project. Like they had this person set, like they got so and so.
uh,
And then something happened to that person, the famous person or whatever, with the scheduling, or they became pregnant, or, well, it's a bummer. Like, or the person had child with autism, so oh no, like we're gonna like recast this person because like that's gonna be something that's like we don't want that around. That's on the set. I mean,
right,
that's how it really goes. um so for some reason they'll say, hey, like, can you hop on a plane? Like before I was a mother, they were like, oh good, like Kathryn does not have kids. Like I was always the go-to person because they knew I was probably not planning on having kids. I wasn't really on the kid train.
right,
And so I was a really good person to call, you know? So I think like when it comes to your material, like you just, if you know, like you just got to put it out there and just know like it's going to somehow come back to me in a way creatively, and that just trust that you did it and that it's somehow in the ether of the creative world. If you're angry about it, it's going to destroy you.
yeah,
Like, and I've been cut out of my entire part was cut out of the movie AI. I was discovered by Steven Spielberg in the movie The Contender,
right,
for the part that I played as a rock star in AI. I trained for a month to play that rock star. It was kind of like a Kid Rock meets like mm, kind of a Gwen
Haley
Stefani.
Joel Oswald or whatever his
Haley
name
Joel
is.
Osment. I was the human that destroyed the robots. I had a costume that lit up with 10,000, 100 or 10,000 lights. I took dance lessons. I took guitar lessons. I sang the national anthem. I got to practice with John, sing, record with John Williams, the composer, in advance to sing the national anthem.
Yeah.
All of this cool stuff, entirely cut from the movie. The whole sequence was cut. My
Yeah.
backup band was Ministry. I mean, but you know what? Like, I was cast immediately afterwards in Minority Report,
Yeah.
and to have Steven Spielberg cast me twice was such an honor. And he told me on set, he says, I have to tell you something. I had to cut the movie down for AI. It's really long. And I just wanted to tell you that I had to cut the flesh fair sequence and including some dance sequences that Jude Law had worked really hard on. And I had to cut Teenage Honey out, which was my character name. So, and I was like, and I said, the movie is not about Teenage Honey. The movie was about, the boy, Haley
Yeah.
Joel Osment's character. And he says, I knew you'd have that reaction, which is why I liked you for this movie and why I cast you in Minority Report.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he says, because I knew you'd have that good reaction. And I said, well, look at us. We are here. I'm here with on another set with you.
Yeah.
And you've only been so great to me. I mean, it did hurt inside. I just knew that it was going to work out. And then I was also cut from big sections of Minority Report. We had all these home movies that we shot that he kind of like gave me a video camera and said, we want you to guys kind of to direct the home movies. Like it was just such an amazing, and other storylines within our family.
Yeah.
Like the creative, you have to fall in love with the creative process. If you really love acting, like let's be real with yourselves. Like there's not the same money in it that it used to be. There's not, it's Marvel time or streaming time.
Or adult video time.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Like I'm not on OnlyFans. I'm not going to be in the theater that you sneak into. I'm not.
Right.
But like if you're worried about it and you're thinking, if you say, I just don't want to do this, is this worth my time? Is this worth me to, quit my manager job at Best Buy? Then look at the script and say, is this a plot point?
Yeah.
Like, if it's a plot point, if you really want to know, like, if if it's going to be like the part in the heist where you are the bank manager and the bank manager is the guy that's going to have to be the one that turns the dial and is going to be dragged through the streets of Chicago. And there's no way that they can cut around that because we need him to the end of the movie. Then that, the big scene where you talk about how you gave it all up for Delilah, like you have to say, could this scene be cut out? Could this scene be cut out of the movie? If you can look at the script and say, if this scene can be cut out of the movie, it probably will be.
Yeah.
So that's a good question, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also cut out of Moneyball. I played Brad Pitt's wife. I was entirely cut out of the movie.
Oh my God.
That was a hard one. Yeah, that was right after Cold Case.
Yeah, but that was back when Brad Pitt was hot, right?
Oh, he's still
Oh, is he? I don't know.
depends on whose side of the story you believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that was a hard one because that was right after Cold Case, and like it was a great part. It was kind of like she was the trade-in wife, and the script was phenomenal, and the movie was about baseball. So
Yeah.
the female storylines, Robin Wright, who's just such an incredible actress, and then I was playing like the new wife. So it was a great dynamic of like how he gets remarried, and he still has to work out his shit with his ex-wife, and he has his new wife.
Yeah.
Like same shit, different woman, but So that was it. And that kind of opened a lot of new doors for me because I got that part. And then you're cut out of the movie entirely. So that was like, oh,
Well, hey, we wrote another Kathryn Morris joke where, like, you could say, "So I've been cut out of. I worked with Steven Spielberg twice, right? And I was cut out of AI. And on Minority Report, he comes up to me and he says, 'Kathryn,' because that's my name. I say, 'Yes, Steven.' He says, 'I got good news and I got bad news.' Okay, what's the bad news? 'I'm cutting you out of AI.' 'What's the good news?' 'Good news, that movie sucks.'" Right? You got a career in comedy, Kath.
I'll never agree to that. There's, that movie had so much amazing stuff. That should have been like one of those movies that was 5 hours long, like Reds,
Yeah, yeah,
movie Reds,
yeah,
Reds with Warren Beatty.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know Dick Tracy, Warren Beatty. Yeah. Okay, so Hollywood question number two. I wanted to ask you about Cold Case because Cold Case. I mean, the truth is that is a big part of your life. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, where like, how does it feel like when you first got it, where you're like, whoa, I'm the star, I'm the main person. Everyone has to now like rely on me. And did you have the pressure of that? You know, thinking, "Oh, can I do it?" And then when you did it and it got renewed for seasons, like did it get easier or did you still have that stress and anxiety?
That's a good question. That I had been doing some films for a while. Like I kind of wasn't doing television. And I'd done a lot of pilots and all of that, and actually had done a development deal with DreamWorks for a show based on the movie that I did, Contender, for a script called 302.
Uh,
So when Cold Case came around, it was like the people that were involved, like Jerry Bruckheimer, like I was like, let's see. I was like, how are you going to do it when they came to approach me with this idea? Because I had had this deal with Steven Spielberg for them. They developed this show for me, and there was such an incredible rapport that I had with the DreamWorks people
right.
based on the movies that we just talked about. So, but it was really, Jerry had said, we're going to buy all that music. And I was like, really? And just like it being a female driven show and something that had never been done, there weren't any female cop shows, and just a fresh take on it and how they were going to do it and go back into the past. I thought, and I'm a natural sort of leader. And I thought, this is really, this is something like it hasn't been done. And I think I feel like I have a lot to offer here. And like the Meredith who created the show, like she had really been in a male dominated cop world, and it was just a fresh take that no one was doing, and everything was behind it. And then director Mark Pellington walked in, and I was like, oh my goodness, like he's one of my favorite directors. I don't know if you're familiar with who he is, but everything he does is just so authentic and emotional and powerful. So I just, it just seemed like the right thing. And then when we got picked up, there was just so much energy around it. And
Right.
I just knew like there is no option of like not being able to do it. And that's just the kind of person I am, like I am as a mother, and the way I've always kind of been as a person. So there was a lot of attention on it, and I just, back in those days, you could work 18, 20 hours. I had the stamina for it. I didn't have children.
Uh,
We had the most amazing crew. Jerry Bruckheimer, he knows how to do it, as he's obviously proven with like the CSIs. And we had such, the feature film crew. Like if we had a camera operator that was like really sick or something, like we'd have someone from Pirates of the Caribbean come to fill in. Like,
Whoa.
yeah. Yeah, like I mean, we had some of the most groundbreaking filmmakers, cutting edge, like video,
Yeah.
like music video makers. Like they would do our flashback. Like we had like this amazing group that created, everything. And Jerry Bruckheimer just wanted to push the envelope on everything that we did visually. It's like he's such a brilliant man on how to visually keep people from not changing the remote. And I learned a lot from him about that and with producing.
Yeah.
When I had got my production company at Warner Brothers, like I really listened. We had great conversations, and I really learned a lot from him as a producer. He was a really great person to me. So yeah, no, but as we went on, I just knew like, okay, like I'm in this for as long as we go, and just trying to keep your health up and trying to just keep your stamina.
Yeah.
And we just wrote it out as long as we could. The music rights became problematic as we went on, because you could never have a box set, which was really, I think, the only reason it couldn't continue.
Right.
We couldn't sell it as a box set because of the music rights. So,
Uh, and I want to ask you, like, did you do your own stunts on it? And if so, did you ever get hurt on one of them or no?
oh, we had amazing stunt teams. Some of the stunts I did do because we had great stunt coordinators. I did a lot of the underwater stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I'd done a lot of stunt stuff in different things before, but like I had Jodie Foster's like driving stunt person. She was awesome.
Whoa.
But there was a really cool like water sequence that we did when I was in the car, and I did every single bit of that, which was really cool. But they took like great care to make sure I was safe. And that was only because I did a movie called Mind Hunters, and I was like, look, if we're gonna do a season finale, like I pretty much was drowned like in this other movie in Amsterdam, meaning like learn we did incredible safety. I said, so I'm over my fear of that. So if you want to do it, like I'm happy to, like that would be a really good way to do it. That most actors maybe wouldn't want to go through that. I already faced my fear, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I really have big respect for the stunt community because it's really like not safe if you say, I'm gonna do it. And well, if you do get hurt, then the whole crew is out of work.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not an Olympic athlete. I'm not, that's those stunt people, they're like physically trained to do everything. But if
Yeah.
if I break my arm, then everybody's out of work. Like meaning for the stuff that's on camera. So I mean, I've gotten hurt, but you just kind of like don't
Yeah.
really. It's not really. I've had my hand glued shut with crazy glue, but
Oh my God, really? Oh my God.
no, that's like you don't really need to talk about it. Like, are we
You
gonna
could,
like? Do we don't need to shut down production?
yeah,
I've
right.
had I've had concussions so many
You could
times.
be like, I could still carry a gun.
No, but the studio always takes care of you and stuff like that. It really was. But there's times where you just go, let's just glue it shut, like because I'm not going to go to the hospital and then we have to start over. You just like, let's just glue it and then I'll go tomorrow. You can't be baby.
Yeah. Catherine, I really do want to respect your time. Can I still ask some of these questions? Like,
Oh yeah, sure.
okay,
Yeah, I'm
because
good. Good.
okay,
I'm
I
glad we
want.
get to finally connect too because we were trying to coordinate it.
Okay.
We were trying to coordinate it with our other shoot stuff, and it just I was like glad we got to do it this way.
Okay, cool. I wanted to ask you on Cool as Ice. You had a small scene with like a vanilla, and that was Vanilla Ice's first movie, and it's now kind of like a cult classic. But like at the time, it wasn't like people probably said some pretty mean stuff about it, right? And did it like get in your head thinking, hey, this isn't my fault. This is Vanilla's fault.
Well, yeah,
Ice,
I was really young. It was my first feature film,
right?
and it was a very tiny part, the friend of the friend, and I was like, people were like thinking, "Oh, you're doing the coolest ice movie," and I was just so happy to be in a feature film.
Yeah.
But yeah, people would tease about it, but they would say, "Oh, you're in the." They were teasing me, and I would say, "Well," and I'm very pale, so they'd say, "Oh, you're in Cool as Ice. Is it because you're so vanilla? You're vanilla ice, you know?"
uh,
We were invited on the bus the, by the posse, but we didn't go.
I I did this movie called Terrible People. It's the worst movie in the whole world. It's about a bank robbery. It's funny that you were talking about bank robberies because I have a bank robbery joke about it. And Like I'll tell you, it's a little raunchy for the podcast. So when you come to the show, just say do the bank joke. But
Oh, okay, okay.
but this movie was about a bank robbery, and I had like two lines, and I got killed instantly, you know, because that's what happens at bank robberies. And I remember my friends were watching it, and they're like, "That's the worst movie I've ever seen." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I didn't tell you to watch it." I was like, I only did it because I needed to pay my rent. You know what I mean? Like I don't say, you should watch Terrible People. It's so, you know. And then like like the critics hated it, and like I was like, I don't know. It just kind of made me feel like less of an actor because I was in it. You know what I mean? I was like, but I had nothing to do with any of that stuff. I just died.
Are you the actor that you were talking about when you talked about being cut out of movies and
I've
then
been
feeling
I
bad? Or were you happy you were cut out of that one and just took the money and ran?
I wasn't cut out of Terrible People. I
You
was
were not.
cut. No, I was cut out of this movie called House of Karma, and I was kind of bummed about that because like when you do stand-up comedy, like I'm just a stand-up, so like I don't have like real credits to sell tickets or whatever. Like I just, you know, but I wanted this horror movie to work out so I could go to these horror cons, you know, and just sign autographs. And like I'm friends with Christy Swanson, and she made a lot of money when I went to go see her. And when I say a lot of money, Kathryn Morris, I mean a lot of money. Where like I was like, all I have to do is just one horror movie, sign autographs, and I'm set. You know what I mean? Like, but I got cut, so now I can't do that.
Can we make our own horror movie? We can have it by Savants produced, like we got to get some money together. A comedy horror movie.
Uh,
We can do figurines and merch and all that, and then we can start signing shit at the conventions. Should
I actually have a great idea for the Savants TV show where like Kathryn Morris is a celebrity, right? And she needs an assistant, right? I'm the assistant and I'm on the spectrum, and I don't do it on purpose, but I just totally ruin all your Hollywood plans with my autism. Like I'd be like, "Oh yeah, she'll be there on the day that ends with Y." And then the guy's like, "Isn't that every day?" I'd be like, "Yeah, we'll get this done." Comedy magic, you know what I mean?
You know what? I was doing a film in another state while my kids were, in a deep intervention, and I just had to go finish this film and come back. Well, they were being really inclusive and they wanted to they had someone on the spectrum running base camp, but I knew that they didn't know how to support this person, and nobody knew that I had my kids at home. And some people were being kind of rude to this person. It was like they made him like the second AD. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like they don't know, like he's gonna wait outside the stars trailer because you didn't just tell him, give him 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Say, give him 10 minutes, come back, like just give him some direction because you're gonna start to cause like tension with between the star. Like it was they didn't handle it right.
Yeah. And
I
like
s-
that
I thought that's not really how you. I know what you're doing, but you're not really doing it in the right way. Like so
yeah,
in our show with the assistant, that would be really funny. Let's do that. That
let's
sounds
do it. I think it'd be great because they would be bringing out the positive sides of it. And like here's the thing where like I feel you as a mother are extremely lucky because you know your boys are 11, and you know the resources, they're a lot better from when I was a kid. When I was a kid, a lot of people didn't really know what there's six different forms of autism. A lot of people didn't really know these forms, and like Asperger's, you were, and then I was very nonverbal, so you were considered creepy or weird or something. And then you know you have a high IQ, and then like the older you get, it's kind of weird where like people maybe don't believe you're on the spectrum, and that's just as insulting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel that for the generation of, because now it's like probably one of every 33 kids is probably on the spectrum right now. And I feel that, like, I feel terrible for the future because as a kids, they get the sympathy and they'll get the help, but as adults, they're kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like it's just cruel, I feel sometimes because like I experienced that cruelty at my age.
You do now.
Yeah. And it's just like, like people accuse me all the time of faking autism or whatever, and I think that's the most meanest thing you could say, you know?
Like, could you give me an example? Like,
Just
I can also learn.
just because like, like I could talk and but here's the thing, like I've been doing stand-up comedy for 22 years. I toured with Norm Macdonald for 9 years, you know what I mean? Like I and Norm was also on the spectrum, he was the smartest guy in the world. So like I've kind of and then I've gone to speech therapy and I didn't take school very seriously because honestly I knew it and I just didn't care to know it. Like I cared more about writing or animals or movies or something like that. And now when you talk to me, people always say, "Oh, you could hardly tell that you're on the spectrum." And it's like, well, that's kind of very insulting because it's something I've worked really hard to, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I feel like if I ever have children, if they're on the spectrum, like that would just break my heart if someone says you're faking something, you know? So like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I'd be scared of because it's not a good feeling to feel, you know?
I'm
So
sorry that you still experience that. And, also with Asperger's, and didn't they get rid of the word Asperger's? Now this
yeah,
just
that's another thing I get all the time. But it's like when I was diagnosed, it was diagnosed as Asperger's. So I'm not going to say, "Oh, it's autism as support now." You know what I mean? Like that's too many words.
and I don't like when my kids were diagnosed, like I think now they have a new thing. They're like one level one, two, three. I don't know. That's since my the last couple years. So now I see like women on social media, they're just getting my child, or they'll text me, friend of a friend, my child's diagnosed level two, level three. And I'm just like, I don't know what that, like, it's like they keep changing it.
Yeah,
And I'm going, well, I have, I have kids, that I have one that they basically said was a useless sour sunflower who has next level eye contact. All of he is the person. It's like I remember I had a friend who came over and she says, if my boyfriend could just look at me deep in the eyes the way Rocco does, maybe then we might make it in our relationship. Like speaking of eye contact, like it's one person is always
yeah.
different than the other. Like it's just what does a level mean? And it's so insulting. And I do hear it every week. I hear someone say, you can't even tell. I hear it at the after school program when I pick them up. Not trying to be offensive because the boys have worked very hard they've worked hard with this occupational therapy, with speech,
Right.
because
Yeah,
they want to, not because I'm
they
on
have.
them,
Yeah,
because they know like they know my voice. Rocco lost like a lot of his use of the muscles in his mouth. So he says, I don't like the sound of my voice, you
I
know.
hate the sound of my voice.
You have an amazing voice.
Oh, I thank you, but I'm very sensitive about it. But yeah, I mean, so yeah. I should probably tell you something funny to not have this go down on a sad note, right?
Okay.
Do you like ostriches?
Who doesn't? Yeah, I like
Oh, I
okay.
love ostriches. Did you know ostriches are like the world's biggest birds and they can't fly? But they're one of the dumbest animals because their brain is the size of a peanut, so they think they can fly. So like when they're hanging out and they see a wolf, they'd be like, "Oh my God, there's a wolf. We should go fly away." So they'd run, and then they'd stick their neck in the sand. Their brain thinks that's when they're flying, like they're jumping off into the air, and then the wolf eats them.
You know what my imagery was the whole time you were telling me that? It reminded me of like some of the girls on social media that are like doing the get readies with me. Of like,
Right.
so first, I'm gonna do like my lip gloss, and I'm gonna do like they're just ostriches, you know?
Yeah. All right, so I have three more questions. I would love to have you back sometime in the future because I have like honestly 10 more questions, but I want to respect your time. I wanted to ask you, can you I've tried to find this. I saw the trailer. It looks really cool, so I don't even know if it's out yet. But can you talk about From Embers, or is it still in post production or
Oh, I think we had they had a small premiere on it, and I think I'm not sure if it went to. I'm not really sure about like
Okay.
we did they did a small premiere, and I'm not really sure
Okay.
about what's happening with that. Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
because it does look cool. So,
hmm
all
Yeah,
right.
they had. I don't want to say too much about the plot, on it, but it does have a child with autism and a single mother in it.
Yeah.
I don't play that part though.
Yeah. All right. So these last two questions, Kathryn Morris, are for you for like because I want to know a little more about Kathryn Morris because you were like my celebrity crush growing up and all that stuff. I wanted to ask you, hey, if you were an ice cream flavor like from Ben and Jerry's, what would you be, and what would you name yourself?
Oh, that's a great question. Wow. Hmm. Definitely something chocolate, dark chocolate, chunk spice,
Ah,
just to add some.
the Savant, dark chocolate spice.
Spice. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like maybe, yeah, like oh, let's do like a five spice. Okay.
Oh,
Dark
the,
chocolate chunk five spice. There you go.
the Kathryn
That's-
Morris edition.
yeah, the Savant edition. Oh, but we're gonna ride this thing because we're gonna do a show. We're gonna do stuff. See, I have the channel.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna have my YouTube collaboration with Sunny and the Black Pack, and I'm gonna also have the foundation. So we'll be having events and creating material. I've got, certain really creative people on the board, so that we're gonna be making, films and television. I have trademarks for everything. So I have publishing, I have music, I have entertainment, education.
All right.
That's the
Well,
sort of thing I want to be able to have the community, to have a marketplace, and also where we can really, like the things we're talking about, really push it out there. Where there's always like, they always have some streaming show, and that's nice and everything, I guess.
let's
But,
do it.
yeah,
Let's do the TV show. Let's do
just
let's Kathryn Morris. Let's use your power to make me a star, and
we
we'll,
we you're already
we'll
a star.
yeah. But like we gotta get John Cusack in this movie too, because I always wanted to work with him. I don't know why. I have a weird obsession with John Cusack. It's kind of weird, but
No, but the boombox, I know.
you want
Thing.
to see something?
Yes.
Do-do-do. This is from my special, the Boombox.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and
Make it happen.
yeah, because
I can't believe that.
I'll send you my special. I think you'll love it.
I love it.
And like, there's ostriches right there because I like ostriches. and this is the
That
lot.
is so incredible.
Uh,
I
uh,
was going to ask you, like, would you want to do a spotlight with us or a YouTube on the savants?
of course, I would love to.
Like,
I would
would you
love
like to do it this kind of forum? Because we could, we're
anytime. I'm
okay.
here
We
anytime.
can reach out to, we have questions in advance, and
Mm.
then we could do it this kind of like this, or we usually shoot it in a little different way, but whatever work for you, because we have our savants sort of question, but I've just really
I
enjoyed.
would even fly out to wherever you're at, and you know, I'd be like, whatever you what, but yeah. So I do have one final question for you because I want to respect your time. Kathryn Morris, if you could go into a time machine and talk to a younger version of yourself, it could be from yesterday or back in the day or whatever, knowing everything you know now, what would
Mhm.
you tell yourself? And you only have 20 seconds.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Uh, you ain't got time for that. Like, if there's bullshit, you ain't got time for that. You know,
All right.
like, or like that's what it is. It's just like when like if something's coming up, yeah, I ain't got time for that. Bullshit. Moving on. I tell that to my kids all the time.
Yeah,
Well, it's important.
that is important.
I don't know how it was with your parents, but you start to get the radar. Get the radar. Is this for me? No, I ain't got time for that. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
You got to protect yourself. Especially, I don't think we're all a little on the spectrum. I don't. But I am very empathic. So, but that doesn't mean that everything is open all the time, because you also need to protect yourself so that you have reserves for what matters to you.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that and you didn't say Catherine. This is Kathryn Morris from 2025. I just want you to know if Keith Reza asks you to do his podcast, say no.
Yeah. Do you want me to make up something funny?
Uh, no, I just
Yeah.
wanted to, I just like making you laugh.
Okay. Yeah, the alternate one would be something like, don't be an ostrich. Don't be an ostrich. Or look in the mirror. Are you an ostrich or are you a swan?
Oh,
Look in the mirror.
I think you're whatever you want to be. Like that's how beautiful you are. So I think like that's if you think an ostrich is great, you're an ostrich. If you think a swan's great, you're a swan. But I think you have such a great heart, and I'm just like I said, I just found out literally an hour ago the cool stuff you do for something that's really touching to my heart. And I've always loved you. And now that I know that, I love you even more. So thank you so much.
Oh, well, that makes me so glad. I love that. It was just definitely the like frequency. Like, look, even the boombox, all these things that you've been talking about, it's definitely like resonating. And my goal is to change the narrative. Like, it's been really important to me. Like, we have April coming up. We should definitely line up some stuff, maybe if you're available for
Yeah.
April. Autism Awareness Month. Like, it's always about awareness. And
Right.
you and I know that it's not just April, it's every day. And it's acceptance, it's beyond acceptance, it's like action, and it's just like life. It's part of living. It's actually like the way, if you're an ostrich, if you're a swan, like, who are you? Like, be yourself, love yourself. And the world, the world is changing it. And so um that's what I wanted to do with the savants, is like the creative people were always super cool with my kids. They didn't say stupid shit to me about my
Right.
kids.
Right.
Schools, playgrounds, mom groups. I just was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, where can the folks at home follow and support you? The website and the Savant's website?
You can follow us on social media. We just launched on social media. I've never done social media. I'm sure, yeah,
Uh,
I pretty much disappeared.
what?
I
You
didn't do
got all
social media.
these spam accounts then.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There's pretty
That's
much other.
that's because you are a famous. That's another joke. Yeah.
Oh, famous. We'll have to work that into our TV show. So follow us on at the Savants on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. And then our website is thesavants.com, but on our socials. So we just launched there 6 months ago. And it's sort of like, if you know, you know, like it's not like Kathryn Morris, it's like at the Savants, because it's pretty much my kids would be the only thing that got me on social media, because it's not, it's like this was the reason, like it's like what you said, 1 in 33. And like they're saying by like half, I think they're saying, I don't know if the stat is right, but like 1 in 13 boys in California. Someone told me that, I'm not sure, but there's a lot.
You'd be surprised. Autism is also in a lot of the ladies. And here's the thing where like I feel that ladies go more undiagnosed because when you're a lady, like I'm not a lady, but so I don't really know, but I have two twin sisters and they kind of grew up with a whole bunch of ladies and they had tea parties and all that stuff. And they were like trying to sleep with each other's boyfriends and stuff. So like they kind of bonded like that. You know what I mean? Where like guys, they kind of don't really have that bond. Like with me, it was more, playing checkers or doing puzzles or Rubik's cubes or something. Like I can't say, "Hey, you want to do this Rubik's cube with me?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well, girls, it's like I just saw something the other day and said, hey, guess what? The manic pixie girl, turns out she's just a really cool autistic girl.
yeah,
Yeah. Like,
def
and a lot of misdiagnosis, like, hey, you're bipolar. Hey, you're borderline. Hey, you're just anxious. Hey, you're just overly sensitive. Hey, you're just this. And actually, she was like the most incredible, creative, empathic, uh, like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Like she had a lot of, misdiagnosed autistic girl and
uh,
getting no support, no help, and told that something was wrong with her. So yeah, but my goal is to help change the narrative in mainstream autism in a way, like in the social way, in the lifestyle way, where we can have the kind of conversation that we're having today, which is not the conversation that I've seen. Like there's a lot of websites that I've never gone to
right,
that did not help me as a parent.
uh,
And there's a lot of places that I have gotten help from, but it's but for specific things, um, like even though we had to go to urgent care for like my son's finger, like that, and I had to and he said the same thing that you just said. You can't even tell.
uh,
And I said, oh really? I said, wow. I said, you're a doctor? I said, oh, good. I said, good thing you can diagnose. Because he goes, well, will he be able to talk? And I said, I said, what's going on with your finger?
uh,
I said, why don't you ask him? I said, he can hear you. I just, I said, yeah, I'll be able to. I said, I'm going to talk about some of the pain, like some of the history of what happened 2 weeks ago about how we started. You know what I mean?
uh,
It's like, I just thought, wow, like here you are, a doctor. And then he was also like trying to scare me into like 5 bombardments of antibiotics. And I was like, but I think we're on the last day of it. So I was just wondering, like, do we need to just like drain it or is it good? You know what I mean?
right, yeah.
It's
I
just
mean,
funny.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I would
No, no,
say,
yeah, but that was just like it was just an interesting conversation. He couldn't believe like that he was seeing like a boy that was able to communicate and actually was like ate really healthy food and stuff like that. Like anyway,
yeah. Well, it was such an honor. I do want to respect your time. I know you're very busy, but let's do this again soon. And I'm going to send you my special so you could continue to laugh. And
Oh yeah, you've made me laugh. You're super funny. And to be continued, we would love if you would honor us with an interview
a-
for the savants, and we could do that on our YouTube channel. And
any day you want, Kathryn Morris. I'm now your friend for life.
let's,
So
let's
like,
do it. Let's create something so we can go put you in a horror movie. Do you want me to direct you in our little?
yeah,
I'll
definitely.
direct you. Okay.
I want to do scenes with you too.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah,
I've helped many people get callbacks. I can't even tell you. But
yeah.
then when I need them to help me, they're like, hold the camera nowhere. You're like, no, I need you to record something for me. So,
Well,
okay,
I
we'll
would
make a deal.
definitely help you because I want you to be in my sitcom or in my movie. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
You
Like,
got stuff to create.
yeah. Like I have a romantic comedy idea too. You want me to pitch it to you real fast?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. A stand-up podcaster does everything he can to have a date with Kathryn Morris. And it could be called My Date with Kathryn Morris.
Okay.
Right?
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not about you though, right? Yeah, it's not.
No, we could change the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you okay, so if you had a crush on me, is there when did you start to kind of, when did you come up with this idea? When did you kind of,
For
start
the
to fall for
romantic
me?
comedy?
Yeah, yeah. Or no, when did you get to know me as an actor? Or when did you start to think, gosh, she's not somebody that's so repulses me?
You did a show called Mind of the Married Man, where you were on a few episodes, and that was one of my favorite shows because one of my favorite actors, Jake Weber, was in it,
Oh
and,
yeah.
I'm very. I interviewed Jake, and like Jake told me, like because he had the talent to be a star, and he said because he did Dawn of the Dead, which was like his movie,
Hmm.
and he said that his exact words were, "I don't want to be a star. I just want to be Jake Weber." And I thought that that was like that's because I just want to be Keith Reza. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like that. Like I'm a fun, goofy, flirty guy, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I've always admired you and then, Minority Report and then you did this movie with Kevin Pollak. I forgot the name of it, but it was like a political thriller. I thought you were great in that.
The Terrence, Rod Lurie's first movie, and Rod Lurie is the best.
Yeah, and you've worked with that guy for a couple times.
Yeah, he's just a genius writer director, and we share telepathy,
Yeah.
communicating. It's always great when you can find someone that you can communicate. We'll have that when we do our thing.
Yeah,
I'll be the
definitely.
director though.
Yeah.
Jake
Yeah.
Weber, I did meet him a couple of times personally, and you're so right. He's so funny, and he was so great on that show. But then in real life, he's so cool and down to earth.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yeah, and see
Yeah.
that's the thing is like that's my superpower with my autism is like I'm really good at talking to celebrities because I feel I am one. Like I feel I'm in the same category, but I can't talk to the store to like the cute girl at the grocery store and ask for her number or whatever, you know what I mean? So like it's kind of like that. Does that make sense? Like it's
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
yeah. But no. Can I ask you a question before we leave?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, when did you realize you had a crush on Keith Reza?
Well, I, I'm just gonna. I'm better on paper, so I might
Uh,
have to, some people are better like not in person. So
right.
I might have to, hit you in the DM. I have to like start probably around
Dude,
3 a.m. Probably around 3 a.m. I'm gonna be like slide into your DMs and be like, okay,
slide in my DMs, Catherine.
now that I'm on social media at the Savants, you'd be like, why is her brand sending me DMs? Say she must finally have started drinking.
That's another
That's
joke, Kathryn.
just preparing for the movie. We have so much to do.
Yeah. All right, Kathryn. Well, I'll let you go. Have a beautiful, lovely day, and I can't wait to do your show in April. And keep in touch. Like seriously,
Oh, it's been great. I really have loved this interview, and thank you for having me on.
uh,
And I look forward to our interview, and we're going to be doing some more stuff together, right? We're going to do
yeah, the romantic
shows.
comedy for sure.
Let's do it. Yes, for sure.
I
Absolutely. Okay.
wanted my date with Kathryn Morris coming to theaters 2026.
Love it.
Valentine's weekend. All right. Bye, Kathryn. Have a lovely day.
Bye, you too.
All
Bye.
right. All right, guys. That was the episode with Kathryn Morris. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza Riffs.